Hello, viewers. Welcome to the YouTube channel of Life and More. Today we have with us Dr. Gunjan Shrivastava. She's an artist in Botanical Tapestry at Lalit Kala Academy, New Delhi. Welcome, Gunjan.
Hello.
So, Gunjan, first of all, tell us in which field have you done your doctorate? Talk to
So
us
I've
about
done
that.
my PhD. So I've done my PhD in visual arts. My whole
Mm-hmm.
career is around art only. So I've done my master's
Mm-hmm.
and graduation in visual arts, and I've done my PhD in
Mm-hmm.
visual arts.
Okay. So, anybody in your family who's into art? Who was your,
Not
who
into art.
inspired you to become an artist?
My mother is a artist in the sense she's a musician.
Mm-hmm.
She's a tabla maestro. So she's been
Mm-hmm.
into the creative field, I would say.
Mm-hmm. So that's how you got inspired to become an artist. But painting
Yes,
is different.
she.
You used to do painting in school and all that. How
Yep.
did you begin?
So basically, yes, I was good with art. Basic everything, I think, emotions or anything, I would, for everything I would use art. So
Mm-hmm.
always been sketching, drawings since my childhood. And yes, my mother
Mm-hmm.
played a good role in it, because though it's music, but
Mm-hmm.
considering the creativity that all the fields of art hold, I think I
Mm-hmm.
was inspired by her, and she was very encouraged by her also in everything that I did.
Mm. But art, being and becoming an artist is a very different kind of a field. Na? There's no, say, financial security as such. So parents normally they don't encourage their kids to take up art like
Uh,
full time.
no, I was very encouraged to take a part in every way, and I have done my textile design also. So I've done a
Okay.
diploma in textile design, and I was always encouraged to do anything that I want, and I was always creative. So it just came naturally to me, and they've always
Mm-hmm.
promoted me to do. And then I think I went towards education, art education.
Mm-hmm.
So I taught in the University of Allahabad for 6 years, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it was all related to art only.
Mm. Talk to us about your like early life. Tell us where were you born and brought up, about your schooling, about your parents.
So I'm born, brought up, stayed always in Allahabad. Now
Okay.
Prayagraj, as you call it. I can
Yeah.
only relate to Allahabad. So yeah, a
Mm-hmm.
very creative city itself. We
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of uh, poets and everybody from there. So all my schooling, everything was till I got married. I moved out of Allahabad. Till then, I was always in Allahabad. I worked, studied, did my schooling, everything.
Okay.
So taught in a all girls school, convent school. My parents had a very varied background. My father was a politician. He was a
Mm-hmm.
minister in the UP government, and my
Okay.
mother has been an educationist. So
Mm-hmm.
she has she retired as a principal of a college in Allahabad. So she's got a fair amount of career in politics also. So I have a political
Okay.
background, and
Okay.
but I chose chose not to go in politics and chose
Mm.
art.
I was about to ask you that.
Though my
Considering both your parents were into politics, how did you keep yourself away from that?
I wasn't very away from. I was always very interested in politics, and I always used to be around them and with them. So, being a political family and a very strong family in that city, so I was
Mm-hmm.
always around politics. I was decently fair with it also, but I think somehow you find something else which gives you more, you know.
Okay. So you moved to Delhi after your marriage?
Not Delhi. I am right now in
Uh-huh.
Mumbai. I'm based in Mumbai. I practice, and for past 10
Okay.
years I've been in Mumbai. And
Okay.
I've lived in different cities post my marriage.
Mhm. Mhm. But now you are in Mumbai.
I'm settled, and yeah. practicing
Okay.
in Mumbai.
Okay. Okay. Now we come to your botanical tapestry.
Yes,
Tell us a
yes.
little more about that. And botanical is related to plants.
It's plants and flowers.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole name, as it suggests, is very, very straightforward:
Mm-hmm.
botanical and tapestry. So, as I said,
Mm-hmm.
I've done my diploma in textile design. So I've always been interested
Mm-hmm.
in textiles and embroidery per se, I would say. So
Mm-hmm.
this collection, and always in my works, you'd see there's hand embroidery around my works. So I've
Mm-hmm.
always been interested in hand embroidery. So botanical. So here the whole exhibition is focused on flowers, how flowers have significance in our lives beyond being just ornamental, just for the sake
Mm-hmm.
of gifting or just for the sake of beauty. They have much more, um, you know, much more diverse role in our lives. So I have
Mm-hmm.
tried to research and bring together a series of works that depict that.
Mm-hmm.
And tapestry, because I have done a lot of embroidery in this collection, I have tried. Generally, I do hand embroidery on paper on my works, but in this collection, I have a huge series of work which I have done embroidery on canvas, which was my very first experiment with canvas, in hand embroidery on canvas. So and very I mean decently big ones. So, uh, so uh, that's the whole botanical tapestry, the name came from there.
You
And
talk about flowers. You've talked about flowers being symbols and flowers being storytellers.
so
Care to
in
explain about that?
Sure. So basically, when I said that this whole collection is how flowers play an important role in our lives, and they are more than just being beautiful or just being used for uh, beautifying your houses or something. They have much more importance. Every you know, like when I say this, my whole exhibition is divided into four sections. The first is
Mhm,
Love's Bloom. Then there is the perennial cycle. I'll explain about everything. And then there is the White Lotus. And then there is Kaleidoscope. So the where it starts is love's bloom. How flowers like red roses, especially if you look at it, is a symbol of love. Like when you are in love, you cherish those moments when you share or give flowers to each other. And so many people have this thing of keeping those as memories, stuffed inside books, inside pages of your diary, where you write something about you have this thing of keeping them safely in your diaries as memories. So one day I really landed up in opening one of my diaries, and I found a flower from my now husband. So
okay.
he gifted me like 23 years back, and it was still safe, very safely kept, and still as the shape held to it and all. So I just thought that how flowers can bring back those memories. There's a spark of that memory that came back. The whole life came back at that moment. What moments I've spent at that time and all. So I
Mhm,
think how red roses actually have this and then I've shown I have used embroidery, of course, and I have
mhm,
used gold leaf, which is like flowing
mhm,
like nectar from the flowers. How we are so potent in love, how we are so giving, so happy when we are in love. We are full of nectar in ourselves that we can be happy, and we give that happiness around us. We share that happiness.
yeah,
So the whole series is like a flowing series from one artwork to another. I think you can see it in the background. If I move a little, can you
I
see
can
that
see
in the
that.
background? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
this
can
is
see
that
that. Yeah.
that series, Love Bloom. So
Mhm,
how we use the symbol of red roses in our life.
mhm,
So this is one.
mhm,
Now we move to the perennial cycle, which again
mhm,
is, I told you, the canvas, embroidery on canvas. So there's a two part in the series, the top part and the bottom part. The top part signifies the perennial cycle of life that goes on above the earth, there's a life that goes on in repetition.
Yeah.
You just, it will go on no matter what, who goes, who comes, whatever, it will just keeps on moving in its own cycle. And it's monotonous. Life is monotonous. It will go on in the same way every centuries, ages, it will just go on. So those my embroidery represents that. So I've done a lot of geometrical patterns and lines, straight lines that shows repetition. Below that, I have these 6 embroidery frames that I have done, which are in circle,
Mhm.
which shows earth.
Mhm.
Under under the earth there is a section
Okay.
of life which has seeds
Mhm.
and flowers growing inside the earth, which will come out as a bloom whenever there's season. So
Mhm.
they come out when they have to. There is a season, they will just burst out, bloom out of the earth. But
Mhm.
in that monotonous cycle, there'll be times when there'll be happiness, there'll be,
Mhm.
when you experience something new, when you experience something very magical, that life comes
Mhm.
out. So I've
Mhm.
shown that as a perennial cycle in this whole series. And then the
Mhm.
third part moves on to the white lotus. So that white lotus
Mhm.
has white flowers which represent divine. How we use white lotus as a offering. In every religion, flowers are used as a divine connection, as divine offering for religious purposes. How we use white flowers as offering to God. So I have that in that collection. And the fourth collection is a kaleidoscope. So I again
Mhm.
experimented the first time with sculptures, 3D. This is first time I'm working with 3D. I have these metal wired flowers made out of wire, and
Mhm.
every flower has an emotion and a color to share. So there are these gray and black dying flowers. Sometimes when you're depressed or sad, you can relate to them, that how flowers are intact but they just droop down. Like when you're sad, your face droops down, and inside you're not happy. It shows that.
Mhm.
And then there are, of
Mhm.
course, there are happy sunflowers that I have done, which shows
Mhm.
uh, yellow, which shows friendship. We are uh, s- again so happy when we are when we have connections we admire or we live with. So the whole
Mhm.
collection, again, that whole collection shows a different colors that relate to emotions, and the flowers are made in that pattern that emote emotions.
How many total works are there in the show?
So there are multiple works in one collection. There are
Mhm.
four total, four
Four.
works,
Mhm.
four
Mhm.
works. But those one work has like,
One
so
collection has a number of works, right?
yes. So there are multiple frames in uh, one artwork. Like Love's Bloom has like 9 pieces. Uh, so
Okay, each
every
collection has
piece
nine
goes into,
pieces.
not each collection has 9 pieces. Like
Mhm.
the perennial cycle has 12. So
Mhm.
every different work has
Okay,
different pieces in it.
okay, okay, okay. But isn't like what's the what process do you take up? Like when you work with threads, do you paint what you have in your mind? You paint a flower first, put in the leaves, and then do the thread work. What's the process that you use?
No,
Employ.
so for me, my art making is very intuitive. So I do not plan a lot. I plan on the thought
Okay.
process. I plan my process in my
Mhm.
head. So if
Mhm.
I'm a thinker myself, so I think a lot and I research a lot. When I read a
Mhm.
lot. So I read about, make my notes,
Mhm.
and then I work on my collection. So it's very intuitive, especially
Mhm.
when I make something, it will go in a flow. I enjoy every moment while making it. I do not plan it. So I work
Mhm.
with the flow and very intuitively. And the reason I have
Okay.
picked up embroidery. And there's another thing I would like to talk about is I do something
Mhm.
called cyanotype. I work with something called cyanotype. The
Okay.
circles that you see in the back,
Mhm.
the blue circles. They are
Mm-hmm.
cyanotype. Now
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
cyanotype is, if you've heard of blueprints. In olden times there was something
Uh-huh.
called blueprints
Right.
for architectural drawings.
Blueprints.
So
Yeah.
it's a kind of,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
a kind of print making. It's a kind of print making by, but
Mm-hmm.
the process is tedious. The process is made by hand. So I apply a certain
Okay.
amount of chemical and then expose them under the sun, and then I wash it in
Mm-hmm.
a dark room. So it's a typical hand photography, a rigorous hand photography that I do,
Mm-hmm.
and then I use that paper in my
Mm-hmm.
artwork. So again,
Okay.
very few artists do that cyanotype in their artwork. So I do cyanotype
Correct.
and I do
Yeah.
hand embroidery. Both are very slow and conscious process. So my art,
Mm-hmm.
if you see, I give importance to slow process in this fast moving world and fast moving life, where I would say not easy, but acrylics or any kind of paint would come very easy to me to make a canvas. And I've also done collections on paint. Slowly
Mm-hmm.
I'm moving towards very
Mm-hmm.
slow art, which involves
Okay.
a very giving process. Like if I embroider, I would make a line,
Mm-hmm.
then that line is going to take me to another line. So it's kind of a
Mm.
very interactive process in my
It
art.
happens. It happens on its own when you begin, and then
Right.
it happens on its own. You go with the flow.
Right. So again, my slow and conscious approach to art is very, I because I promote sustainability, I promote, I mean, in this digital world, I would say embroidery, people are forgetting embroidery, people are forgetting cyanotype. So many people, I mean, digitally, we print anything digitally. I take photographs
Mm-hmm.
on my cyanotype. So I
Okay.
like doing anything, something which is lost, forgotten, and involves very conscious processes,
Mm. Reviving the old.
reviving the old and connecting
Mm.
to it.
But it must be a very long, yeah, and it but must be a long process, no? Doing one artwork. How much time do you take then?
Uh,
Because it's not an easy
it
thing,
depends.
and
It Yeah, it
mm,
depends on the size and everything. And again, when I say I do it
mm,
uh, consciously and interactively, it takes more time. If I don't plan, it will take more time,
mm,
because I'm going back and
mhm,
forth on something that I'm getting direction while
mm,
I'm doing it. So it takes more time.
mm,
And
mm,
then
mm,
the huge collection which I've
mm,
done in the perennial cycle, the huge canvases are around 3 feet
mhm,
by 3 feet, which I've hand embroidered. So of course it took a
mm.
lot of
That's
time.
quite a lot. Quite
Yeah.
a lot. So, did
Yes.
you this plan this exhibition in advance, like, or you made some works and then you decided, "Okay, yeah, now I'll exhibit it," or was the exhibition planned beforehand that this is what we're doing?
No, I continuously, like, my my connection to my studio is like I continuously work on something, and I work in series. I do not work
Mhm,
like one artwork or
mhm,
something, because I want to explore. Now,
mhm,
even when I'm done with this whole series, I will
mhm,
continue exploring it to, unless and until I have found the whole, now, when you exhibit in exhibition, there'll be people coming in, there'll be different approach,
mhm,
different eyes telling you, okay, questioning the whole uh, art piece. So I
mhm,
interact with my viewers,
mhm,
I talk to them, and I, in this process also, while exhibiting, I learn which direction I need to go
mhm,
next. What are the questions coming out from this
mhm,
series? So those questions I'm
mhm,
going to answer in my next series. So I continue. I do not give up unless
mhm.
and until I'm done with the whole, research or whole
Okay.
um,
So,
answer.
uh, so that means this series can go on a little further also,
Yes.
depending upon your own thought process about it.
4 days in my gallery, I have already planned my next approach to continuing this
Okay.
uh, questioning and
Okay.
answering.
Okay. 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 And how do people respond to thread work?
I've got amazing responses. I think people have not seen thread work on canvases, so uh,
Mm, mm,
it was like people just stand and look at my, especially the perennial cycle. People like, okay, something can be
mm,
represented by thread also. The whole artwork can be represented by thread,
mm,
or they are very amazed with the
mm,
kind of hand skill
mm,
and
mm,
again the size of the works.
mm, mm. And how do you find Delhi? Like you're based in Bombay and you came down to exhibit in Delhi. Have you exhibited earlier also in Delhi?
No, this is my first solo exhibition in Delhi. I've done group exhibitions
In Delhi.
where I send in 2 3 pieces
Okay.
which go with other artists. But
Mm,
this is the first one solo where
mm,
I'm interacting personally in the gallery.
mm.
So
Okay.
very
Okay.
very different than Mumbai, I would say. Art scene in Delhi is
Mm-hmm.
very different uh, than what is in
Mm,
Mumbai. So
mm.
yeah, you learn from places
Are
and
people
people differently.
more into art? Mm. No, are
I
people
would not
more
say
into art
more
in
or
Delhi or Bombay is better?
I would not say more or less. Culturally, both cities are very
Mm-hmm.
strong, but different kind of
Mm-hmm.
different set of eyes, I would say. Uh,
Okay.
Again, it depends on the artists and the people that have already exhibited and they have seen. So there are different
Mm-hmm.
approaches, but I would say right now Delhi is bustling with art more than Mumbai. I mean, there are a lot of art
Mm.
events happening in art
Okay. Okay.
in Delhi.
Taking
Yes,
this exhibition to other cities?
I'm planning. I'm definitely
Yes,
planning.
about that? Okay.
Yes. So I
Okay.
have
Okay.
not yet worked on the finalize the location yet, but yes, I'm talking to different galleries that I would
Mm-hmm.
be taking.
Okay. Okay. And you also run this Lead India Foundation,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Huh. Tell us about
So
that.
so it's a non-profit organization. We work with we
Mm.
started working with the youth of the country. So
Mm-hmm.
our whole motive
Mm-hmm.
of starting that was like in India, people, the especially everybody other than the youth also, we have grown up to follow. We always believe
Mm-hmm.
in following people or getting inspired is one thing, but looking up upon someone and following. But we have never become leaders ourselves. You know, these especially these youth who come in, who who look up upon different
Mm-hmm.
people and think that we will become like that. No, but they do not think that what how can I become different or how
Mm-hmm.
can I become me. So we thought that we'll work around that concept
Mm-hmm.
and introduce our youth to different community leaders and different leaders from different fields and have them talk about their journey to understand that you can be a leader yourself,
Mm-hmm.
so you can lead yourself
Mm-hmm.
rather than being a follower. So we work
Okay.
on that approach and we do a lot of
Mm-hmm.
sessions in colleges and all. We get speakers to speak to them and help
Mm-hmm.
them in whatever way and give them internship and try and help them out. So we work on that. And the other part which I'm very involved in is still in the process, but we've started, but I've not put it on this on paper yet. But I'm working with artists, so I also see the struggle that these artists have is one very huge struggle that I have been visiting galleries. I write a lot about artists. I've helped a lot of artists in this field. I feel very they are very lost. When they come from small towns and exhibit in galleries, the whole challenge, what I think, is for them is to speak about their art. They do excellent art, they are excellent artists, but they are not able to communicate what they have done or what they're trying to represent in their art.
Mm-hmm.
So I find that very very sad, because if you're not able to communicate what you are trying to show, or so there's a
Mm-hmm.
lack of communication between the audience and the artist. So I found that very challenging for them. So I've helped by writing curatorials, writing about them, promoting them, go see their art, this is what they're trying to say. So I've done a lot of activities around that. I generally, like, once a week, or
Mm,
sometimes I don't get time, I would not say once a week, but I try
mhm,
visit galleries and go meet these upcoming artists and talk to them and ask them if you need any help in
mm,
writing, communication, or
mm.
anything. And I have a blog that I write upon them. So this I started like this,
Okay.
but formally now I'm taking it through my NGO.
Mhm.
I'm trying to structure it and bring
Okay.
in more artists with me to help them, take this forward and see how
Mm.
we can help them.
So uh, when was this NGO set up? So it began basically with your idea of helping artists, and then you moved to different other
No,
parts also.
it began in helping the youth. But a common goal was helping the
Okay.
youth understand leadership. But I'm diversifying it towards art.
Okay.
The plan was there, but
Okay.
again, with my this thing, I'm not been able to
Hmm.
give too much time to it. So the art section has to be done by me. So I'm
Hmm.
now channelizing and focusing on it,
Okay.
and we'll be, yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay. When was this set up? I was asking.
this been I think 5 years now. We've been working on this.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
mostly during
And
COVID times.
formally.
During COVID,
Mm,
we worked a lot around COVID. We worked with a lot of webinars we were doing, because at that time, I think youth, the our,
mhm,
children were more lost. How, what are we doing? How are we
mm,
going? So it actually really helped us and them
mhm,
to have a lot of webinars. Uh, we worked with a lot of colleges and we did webinars on for them to, it actually came alive at that time of COVID.
okay. And coming to COVID also started this online shows.
Yes.
What's your
So,
take on online shows?
online shows, I have also done uh, during COVID. I did my first online solo show, and I when
Hmm.
I planned it, I wasn't very sure how would the response be, but the response was amazing.
Hmm.
So I've had shows, 2 3 shows online, and the response was amazing. Uh, at that time, I think people
Hmm.
had a little more conscious time to look in your busy life when when you have that downtime during COVID. We all had that little extra time, I think, during
Hmm.
COVID, that we and we
Hmm.
want, of course, people want to look at something soothing, something beautiful, something. Art was something, I think, they it gave them
Hmm.
respite. So I had my
Hmm.
collection called the Natural Resurrection. How that was specially
Hmm.
made during the COVID period. So it
Okay.
actually was it was a success, and I got very good reviews on it. So yeah, I don't and right now
Okay.
also that trend started
Hmm.
during COVID, but it's still prevalent. People do online exhibitions, and uh,
Hmm. Hmm.
and it's so and I think the audience is more diverse. I got audience from all over the world to look at my exhibition. It
Yeah.
just bridges
Yeah.
the gap.
Hmm. So would you like to do online shows now as well?
Yes, definitely. I also launched a collection on
Hmm.
my website, which, like, it's so much convenient. Sometimes you
Okay.
just want to do a limited series of works which you don't want to go to a
Hmm.
gallery
Hmm.
to display. It's so much convenient to do it online.
Hmm. Artwork, at the time you devote to artwork and your NGO that you work on, how much do you how you do you divide your time, and how much of time is spent in doing the actual art?
So other than my studio time, other than the NGO, I do a lot of other things also. I'm an educationist, so I have
Acha.
to research. I do a lot of
Okay.
lectures. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
All of that, uh, I think I can manage. So again, art becomes very intuitive. Art does not. It's not like I force
Mm-hmm.
myself. It's not for me. It's I don't consider is like it like a work, or I don't need to and
Mm-hmm.
as I said, my art is
Mm-hmm.
intuitive. So when I start my art, I need to work on it, and
Mm-hmm.
it takes its own it
Mm-hmm.
takes its own course when I'm doing it. So I'm back in the studio, and mostly sometimes like working through the night or something. So when I get the idea, I need to finish it and put
Mm-hmm.
it on paper. So yeah, it happens. It's just intuitive. It just happens.
Mm-hmm. So how do you manage your time then between your lectures and all the work that you do? If that's quite a bit for 24 hours, or shall I say 12 hours of a day?
uh,
You write
s-
blog, you maintain a website, you
I
run
write a
an
lot of
NGO, you do your own
articles
artwork,
also in
you hold
art.
lectures.
So I'm into research and
So
writing,
that's
so
what
I
I'm
do a lot
asking.
of
How do you find time?
I do, because see, again, whatever I'm doing is everything related to art. So it's
Mm,
seamless. The flow is seamless. It's not
mm,
like I'm jumping from one
mm.
profession to another.
Okay.
It's the same thing in
Mm.
different. The medium is different.
So when
So
you're not doing art, then what you do? What are your other interests other than art?
I like to travel. I like to read a lot and
Mm.
write. Again, as I said, I write articles and all for this thing. So I write poetry a little bit. So yeah, I and I think reading,
Wait,
writing.
you have to, Gunjan, you have to repeat that. I lost you.
So I said when I'm not in my studio making art, I would prefer reading or writing. As I said, I write
Mhm,
articles and I write a lot, so I do a little bit of writing,
mhm,
more or researching. So I do
mhm.
that, and I love to travel. So that it just, uh, I think.
Any, any favorite author you have, or any favorite book that you just love?
I read a lot of this Murakami. Uh, I can pick up anything and start reading. Mostly, I'm convenient. I'm very
Mm,
comfortable with reading. So I just diversify the whole this thing. But
mm.
yes, I like
Mm.
Murakami. I like these Japanese authors and all. So I read a lot,
Okay.
and I read a lot of art books
Mhm.
also. So
That
I
is
like
again art. So that is that field.
again art. Yeah.
I said other
So
than art. I said other than art.
yeah, I read a lot of poetry and
And uh, okay, okay. And when it comes to traveling, where all have you traveled to, and which is your best place, which where you like to go back again and again?
so I have lots on my bucket list where I need to go, other than repeating the places. But
Okay. Uh,
but I would like to go to
okay.
Turkey again. It was culturally very strong, I would say. I loved
Okay.
the atmosphere and the yeah.
Mm,
Recently, I visited Egypt
mm,
and Jordan. So
mhm,
Egypt again, so full of culture, so much. I teach the same. I
mm,
teach history of
mm.
arts to my students. So it was
Okay.
really
Okay.
interesting to see it with your own eyes and experience the whole atmosphere there. It was very nice. I would love to go to
Okay.
Egypt again.
Okay. 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 So, Gunjan, as we come to an end of this session, I want to ask you if, what is one piece of advice that you would like to give to upcoming artists?
um so not an advice, but yes, I would like to see the new artists which are coming in to experiment a little more. Experiment and break your mold. Do not uh, do not, hold yourself back. I do this medium, I will be doing this medium, uh, and explore. I think just go out, losing yourself, explore. And again, that will only come when you look more, when you look around yourself, when you uh, are exposed to more different mediums, or you should visit more exhibitions, you should meet more people and understand what's. So a lot of these artists, new I think artists who come in are very very limited with their whatever they're taught in the art school. They stick to that. But the only advice I can give is like,
Mm-hmm.
expose yourself to more medias, more mediums. Go see what other people are doing, and maybe something you might be interested in. So start exploring that
Mm-hmm.
and diversify yourself.
And how do you foresee the future of art?
Very promising. India. I mean, I see these lot of these young artists, excellent art. Their thought
Mm.
process is changing. Uh, there are so many new ideas they're working on. Uh, it's it's very very encouraging to see the new artists that are coming up, and a lot of galleries promoting also new artists. So I can see
Mhm.
these international art fairs. I see so many galleries representing these new artists, which is so encouraging, because uh, earlier it was not so. Earlier it was more galleries will go to their own artists, or artists which sell, or the masters. But now I can see that a lot of these new contemporary artists are promoted by these galleries. So of course it's very promising, and I think the world is looking up to India right now.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much, Gunjan, for talking to us. And I wish
Thank
you
you.
all the best for your ongoing exhibition and all your future exhibitions. And
Thank
thank
you
you
so
so much
much. It
once
was a
again.
pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, same here. Bye bye.
Bye.